Hello, everyone. So my name is Jean-Baptiste Nonin. I'm product analyst in the SIS-CC solution team. And today I'm going to demo some evolutions in the Data Explorer regarding the filters and the advanced selection modes. So first, I will explain why we made changes recently on this aspect of the D. I will go through the key modification, evolution of this feature, and then I will finish with a short demo of that. So first, why did we make evolution of the filters and the advanced selection in the D? Up to now, we used to have what we call a scope list, which is a feature for displaying the filters, especially the hierarchical filters in the D. So basically, a scope list allows to display only one level of a hierarchy, only one at once. So for instance, if you select what we call a parent within the filters and decide to browse for the children or to select the children, then the parent will not be visible anymore on screen. Back then, there were good arguments for implementing such a feature, especially when it comes to performance of long filters and also for technical maintenance. However, we receive many feedbacks based on tests and from end user that they found it very confusing. And especially when it comes to long and complex hierarchy within the filters, which is quite common in some of the models of statistical concept. So we had to make evolution of that features. Also, the what we call the bulk selection were not so clear, and they are really limited option. So basically, user wanted to do more with that. So we decided to enhance these features, and we work and we package several new features and feature enhancement into one single release, which is the .stat Suite Unicorn release that was delivered last April 20 recently, so a few weeks ago. So with these new features of the Data Explorer, the main shift of behavior, I would say, was to replace the scope lists by what we call now the flat tree view. So it's more traditional view of the filters and the hierarchy, meaning that all the level of the hierarchy can be displayed once on screen. Also, for more clarity and in order to propose more option to the end user, we have introduced a new advanced selection modes that is triggered from the filter itself, and that is brought up to the end user as a new complete pop-up window on screen. So there are more selection modes options. For instance, you can select all items of the same level at once. You can select all the items under the same nodes of a hierarchy, etc. And now, in order to illustrate that, I will switch to the last part, which is demo. So here is the demo instance of the Data Explorer for the SIS-CC. So that's from the landing page. Let's go first to the search result page. And you can already see here some change. So usually we had the scope list, and now all filters are using flat, like flat view when it comes to hierarchy. So you can already see that change here. You have the expand collapse on the left side, which was before on the right side. And basically that's it. So let's now choose one data view that can easily illustrate this new feature. One also evolution we made recently, I didn't mention before, is the apply filter area. So you can see here it's on top of the data view. It used to be at the beginning of the list of the filters, but we decided to for better readability, we decided to move it so all the selected filter to move it on top of the data view. It's not yet applied to the search result, but it will come as a second step. And we would be happy to have any feedback, comments, because this is the first version, and we hope to make it evolve in the future. So back to the filters. So here you see one hierarchical filters for recipients. It has different level of what we call parent and children. When there is no data for a given an item, it's grayed out here, so you can't select it, but you keep it in viewed for, of course, for understanding of the context and so on. When one filter has more, sorry, first the scope list. So we used to have this feature before, but the scope list is still here to narrow the view. For instance, if you're looking for an item, you can now see the whole kind of breadcrumb and context of the item here. This is a special case here because you can see, for instance, Jamaica twice, because this filter is using what we call the SDMX concept, which is the hierarchical code list. And when you use a hierarchical code list, you can define more than one parent for the same item, I would say. So if I select Jamaica here, it will also select the other one because it's the same. It just for specific representation in tables, for instance, you need different context. So the scope list is quite useful in that case as well. All right. When there is more than 8 items in your filter, so in your dimension, the advanced selection button here appears in your filter, and when you select it, it opens this new advanced selection mode window. So you see on the left side, you see the filters area. You see a very big white space here. We made it as large as possible in order to display very long and drilled down hierarchies, which can be quite common at some point. I don't have this example here, but there are also a lot of filters with very long labels. So we want to provide to the end user in this advanced mode all the space required to be able to read everything. That's the purpose of it. So depending on the resolution of your screen, you will have a very large space or narrowed. On my screen, for instance, the resolution is quite high, so I get this very large white space. Okay, so you have on the left side, you have the filters. You have below options to collapse everything or expand everything. And then you have the selection mode here. So that's a new feature introduced recently. When I click on it, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 options modes. So the default first one is single item. So basically it says you can select one item by one and then apply. And then you will get this selection apply. Let me unselect everything. I want to go from scratch again. The second mode is the selection of item and all items directly below. So it means that if I select Europe, all below items with data will be selected. And same with if I unselect it. If I select developing country, it will be all items directly, so the level directly below, not the second level. So it will be Europe, Africa, and so on. The next selection mode is whole branch. Whole branch means that if I select, in this case, developing country, it will select Europe, but also Albania and all. So it will select all the levels that are below that node. If I select Europe, it will go the same as the previous mode because there is only one level below Europe. If then the next one is the all items at the same level. So for instance, if I select Albania, which is level 1, 2, 3, it will select all items at the same third level. So North Africa, regardless of the parents. And if I select Algeria, which is level 4, it will select all level 4 items. And then the last mode is all items, which is pretty easy to understand. So if I select Albania, it selects everything else. If I select whatever item, it will select the entire filter item with data. You probably see here that there's last thing to demo is kind of int information, and whether you are using this this advanced mode or if you are on the like regular normal mode of selection here on screen. You have way to make all the type of selection using your keyboard and the mouse. It's very hard to demo on screen, but just to explain that, for instance, if you press, if you click mouse and hold, you can move over items you want to select. So here I press and hold. If I unhold, it will select. It will make the selection. And same for unselecting. I press and hold, and I unselect. Also, if I use the Shift key on the keyboard, so I press the Shift key and hold, select developing country, and select then Montenegro. And when I release the Shift key, it will make the selection. So it's a kind of range selection, regardless of any level and so on. So you can really make a range selection. And same for unselecting, press Shift, hold, and click, and that's it. Voilà, that's it for the demo. So thank you.